Hey everybody, it's Cadroll Hunter. Winter has come with a vengeance. It is snowy and blustery outside, so what better way to spend the time and survive winter than with a little penny hunt? Hi everybody, it's James. Thanks for joining me. You're watching my channel, Cadroll Hunter. I've got some pennies here and it's a little too cold and snowy to go outside, and so what better way to spend some time than to be looking at pennies? Got a couple bundles here. This one here, it looks like I've got a mix of some newer stuff, but I see some 70s and 80s. And this bundle over here, well, we can't tell anything about that. So we're hoping that we're going to find some oldies in here. It would be awesome if we found a King George V. I've never found a King George V penny, but now I found a couple King George V nickels. Of course, we could find some errors, some varieties, anything rare, you never know. We're just going to take a look. Pennies are not circulating here in Canada. You can't normally get them. You can't get them in change anywhere. So I managed to get these from the bank. Not all banks will give you pennies. I'm very fortunate. But you never know. People are clearing out their piggy banks and bringing these in, and there could be some really cool stuff in here. Let's get in and find out. All right, I've laid out roll number one, and we've got an assortment here of pennies. Anything from 1996 and earlier is 100% copper. Anything newer than that could be either zinc or steel, and we've already found our first find right there. That's amazing. And so those zinc or steel cents, so some of them are magnetic, some of them are not, and there's some really cool varieties that we're going to find if we're looking in there. And well, we may as well look right now and see what we got, because we got our first oldie here. And it's a 1964. That is a common one, but this is in pretty good shape. So that's our first find for the board, a laureate portrait, Queen Elizabeth II. Same roll, we're going to have another one. What's it going to be? This time it's a 63. And a little further back, we've got our first American, and it won't be our last to be certain. This one's a 1997, and so we'll set this aside. This is a zinc cent, of course. I will be separating out my copper cents, but I'll be trying to look for any errors or varieties in the American ones too. And I'm far less knowledgeable on these, so if I miss anything, definitely just put a shout out in the comments and let me know, and I'll go back and look. And I always appreciate it. Roll number two, and we've found our first 1985 to look at. Pretty mangled here, but this is the blunt 5. You can see the blunt edge of this top part of the 5. We're looking for the pointed 5, which is rare. I found a couple, and they're out there and you can find them. It's a cool variety and it's pretty rare, very uncommon. Took me many years to find one. Now I've got two. So keep your eyes open for that, the pointed 5. Still in roll 2, and we're going to have a 4. And this looks like it's probably a €1 cent from 2000. We'll flip it over. Oh, it's a €2 cent. And I'm going to have to look it up to find out exactly what country this is, because I haven't seen that one. Well, that was pretty easy using the Numista website, which I highly recommend. I can see that this is €2 cents from Belgium. If I scroll down, I can see that lots minted the year 2000, 337 million. So this is not rare by any stretch, but a cool one to find in a Canadian penny hunt. And the very next coin, I just saw it as I was panning down here. It's a 1956, so that's our oldest coin of the hunt so far. Laureate Portrait, Queen Elizabeth, 1956. That's a cool one. Roll number 3's got a bunch of 2006s we can look at, and there's several varieties to find. So this one here doesn't feature a mint mark or a composition mark underneath the Queen's effigy. But what we could be looking for is one that also has a P. That should signify that it's magnetic and made of steel. And the 2006P is actually fairly low mint, so we want to find that. There's a variety where the 2006P was accidentally struck on a zinc core, so it would say P, meaning that it's magnetic, multiply plated steel, but is not magnetic, so we want to find that. And there's also a 2006 that has a Royal Canadian Mint logo on the bottom, but this one that doesn't have the logo or the mint mark, or I should say the composition mark, we want to check and see if it's magnetic. That's also a lower or a more rare variety. And I got a bunch here, and none of them are made of steel. They're all zinc, so they're just common ones, but those are the things we want to look for. Roll number 4, and we're going to get our fourth Elizabeth Laureate portrait. This one's another 64. And just a couple coins back, that's a good sight. We've got ourselves a wheat cent. Look at that. It looks pretty worn. It could be old. It is a 1946. I think that's a common year, but that's really cool to find a wheat cent in our Canadian penny roll hunt. And it's also officially our oldest coin of the hunt. Roll number 5, we're going to have something here. We've got another 1964, but just a second ago, as I was about to reach for that, I saw an edge at the back that had fallen down, and look what I see. This says Rex, that is King. It's just the end of the roll. We got a King George VI in the roll. What year is it going to be? It's a 1942. Awesome. Roll number 7, we got another one. If I wanted to try and guess, I'd say maybe this could be on the older side of the Queen Elizabeth Laureate portraits, but it's just so hard to tell. This could be another 64 for all we know. And here it is, it's a 62. It's just in very circulated condition. Obviously, it's been around a long time. So it's just not worth trying to guess. Unless it's in great shape, it probably is a 63 or 64. Same roll, we got a new oldest coin. It's a pretty trashy looking 1942, but we'll take it. That's another King George VI in the box. Awesome. Roll number 8's got an ender. It's a 63. Very end of roll number 8 here, and we've got another laureate portrait. We'll flip it and see what it is. It's our first 1958. Roll 10, and there is another 1962. Roll number 11, we're still on oldies. We got another 62 here, right at the beginning of the roll. I'm in roll number 12, and I have just found a variety that has eluded me up until now. This is just a 2007, and if I flip it over, it's got the Royal Canadian Mint logo on the obverse. It's not in perfect condition, but the vast majority of those were struck in steel. There's a small number, just under 10 million, that were struck in zinc and would be non-magnetic, and I got my magnet. And we've got it. So that is a really cool find. That is a 2007 non-magnetic. So it's a zinc core, and it's only the first one I've ever found. This is a hole I've had in my collection. Just at the end of roll number 14, in amongst some like bright and shiny newer pennies, we've got a 1960. That's our first 1960 of this hunt. Roll 16 is going to give us our second 1960 from this set of rolls. I am in roll number 18, and I have to share with you, this is incredible. Now, I had to walk away and look it over a few times just to be sure, but I may have found, or I guess I did find, one of the hardest to find Canadian pennies. I always want to find old pennies, but if I get rolls of newer stuff, I'm excited because I can look for some of the varieties like this 2007 non-magnetic zinc penny that are harder to come by, minted under 10 million. What I have here is a 2006. I'm going to pick it up carefully. No composition mark, so it has no P, no Royal Canadian Mint mark, and it is magnetic. So I'm going to just very carefully with the tip of my magnet here. You can see that that is magnetic. If I pick it up, we can see there is no mint mark and no P. This is the magnetic 2006, no P, no mint mark. The most reliable mintage figures I can find on this is from the Charlton Guide, and I'll just throw it over here. You can see there it is, the 2006 steel, it's magnetic. At the point in time when this was printed, only 222 had been found, and you can see some of the numbers there. So in an MS65 red, $500 Canadian, a 66 gets up to 800. I'm not sure exactly where this will grade, but I'm going to find out because this is definitely a submitting coin. And you can see it's got a couple marks on there, so it's not going to grade, MS70 or anything like that. But there's at least 223 now. I think there might be some more since this was printed. I'm using the 2019 guide, but it is exceptionally rare. I'm going to flip it up here and get that ready for submission. But that is by far, I think, my best find in pennies or any denomination. A 2006, no P, no mint mark, magnetic penny. Simply incredible. Well, I've calmed down enough to carry on now. So I've got a 1979 into the scope, and so far we hadn't found any that had exhibited that dye deterioration doubling. And we have the double nine. You can see that little extra line there. It's at least the double nine. There might be a little bit of something under that seven, but definitely the double nine, and not in terrible shape. It's still got a bit of mint luster on it, so that's a cool find. That's the only doubled date penny that we found so far. Sometimes we can find a few. Roll 19, and we're going to have another wheat cent. This will be our second of the hunt. That's pretty awesome. What's it going to be? Oh, it's a 1947, and that might be a 1947 Denver. We'll just put it under the scope, get a closer look. Absolutely, there we have it, a 1947 Denver. I don't think I've got one of these in my collection. I'm not 100% certain, but it strikes me that this might be one that I don't have. Same roll, we got a pretty nice looking 1980 with some interesting toning on it. Very good condition, but on the obverse, it's got some spots from some environmental damage, so probably not a keeper. If it was nice and clean with even just a little bit of cool toning, I might have kept it. Partway through roll 20, our last roll of this hunt, and we've got another 1963. And right behind it, the very next coin was a 1961 that I didn't even notice. Maybe you saw it. We got another early 60s laureate portrait. Same roll, our second 63 of the roll. All right, 20 rolls hunted, and we did about 50-50 for copper versus steel or zinc. We got some good finds. We got a small stack of American copper. Our two best American finds, of course, were that 46 and 47 Denver. We got another foreign. We got that 2 cent from Belgium, 2000 2 cent. And a 1979 we got with some of the doubling. That's at least the double nine, the double date 1979 from dye deterioration. We did get a bunch of laureate portraits from the 1960s, a couple 60s, a 61. We got a few 62s. We got 4 63s, and we got 4 64s, and a couple in the 50s too. We got a 1956 and a 1958. And a couple of King George VI. We got 2 1942s. And if that's all we got, I would have been pretty happy. That would be a pretty decent hunt. But we did even better than that. We got that 2007 non-magnetic zinc. It's one that I haven't found yet so far. And if that's all I found too, I'd have been happy. But we got something that is just incredible. We got this 2006 no P, no Royal Canadian Mint mark, magnetic, in actually very good condition here. So I'm going to say this is in perhaps a low to mid mint state. It looks really, really nice. I'm going to take this in to get graded, absolutely. So that's a bucket lister for me. I'm just incredulous, or that I just found this is just totally crazy, but that's awesome. And that's why I take the magnet to every single one, because there are hundreds of millions of them that are not magnetic, and maybe a few hundred that are, and I just found one, which is incredible. I really hope that you enjoyed that penny hunt. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Cadroll Hunter, please do that so you can be aware of when my next videos are coming out. I have videos coming out all the time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll see you again next time.